Singing of the national anthem.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming?
Whose broad stripes and bright stars
Through the perilous fight,
o'er the ramparts we watched, so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say, does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the
I would like to thank our high schools for sending that to me. So far, I've gotten North and Central, so that's a plug to West. Get me your copy. Thank you. Next up, Brenda, would you please do the roll call?
Sure. President Klein-Jerome,
Yes.
Vice President Poston.
Here.
Director Barnes,
Yes.
Director Beck,
Yes.
Director Hayes,
Yes.
Director Potts is absent. Director Ward is absent.
Thank you. Director Hayes, would you please read the mission and vision statement?
Yes. The mission statement of the Davenport Community School District is dedicated to growing excellence in academics, the arts, and athletics for every child by ensuring the highest quality education in an environment shaped by our diverse community, preparing our students to be lifelong learners and productive citizens. The vision statement, education that challenges the conventional thinking, prepares all students to compete in a global society, and inspires students, parents, staff, and community to answer the question, what if?
Thank you. Director Barnes, would you please read the guiding principles?
Yes, the guiding principles: opportunity. We provide abundant opportunities to empower students to reach their full potential academically, creatively, and socially. Collaboration. We foster an environment that allows students, families, and community stakeholders to come together for the betterment of our students' education and future. And transparency. We share relevant and important information with our students, families, and the community to maintain open and productive communication.
Thank you. Not Director. Ms. Campbell, would you please read the goal tie-in?
Yes, goal number 1, enhance student learning, and goal number 4, foster the innovative use of finances, facilities, and staff.
Thank you. Okay, next up, we will hold a public hearing for North High School addition and renovation project. I will now conduct a public hearing for approval of the 95% plans and specifications for 95% plans and specifications for the North High School additions and renovations project. Notice of the hearing was published in the Quad City Times on May 13th, 2025. Anyone wishing to speak on this item, please step forward to the microphone or call 1-312-626-6799 and enter meeting ID 92850141585 and passcode 313418. State your name and address for the record. Is there anybody here that wants to speak on this? Seeing and hearing none, I now declare the public hearing closed. May I have a motion?
Madam President,
Director Barnes.
I move that the board approve the plans and specifications for the North High School addition and renovations project as shown in the 95% plans and specifications.
Could I have,
Second.
Motion and a second. Any questions? All in favor? Oh, I have to do a roll call vote, sorry. Director Barnes,
My vote is yes.
Director Beck,
Yes.
Director Hayes,
Yes.
Director Poston,
Yes.
and my vote is yes, motion carries. Next up, student board members. And this is the final meeting for our student board members, and we are going to miss you.
Hi. So we had a field day on Friday and it went amazing. There was a bunch of activities for our students to enjoy. We are celebrating our staff as they have had the best high school staff attendance. Iowa Works came today to help students get jobs. Today was Western Day for our ABC Spirit Week. Urban Farm and Kitchen Chemistry awarded a grant to work on expanding and growing. And Bluegrass Elementary toured our urban farm Thursday, I believe, and they got a chance to learn about our hydroponics and see our outside fields. Mid City, my podcast, Mid City Mic'd Up, is officially out. I was able to email a couple of you guys the link, but if you don't have it, I would love to give it to you guys. It's only 2 episodes, but I think it's worth the listen. I had a bunch of fun. And lastly, our graduation is tomorrow at Central, so I hope to see some of you guys there. Thank you.
And Brenda did send us the link this afternoon, so we all have your link and we will
Perfect.
watch it. Thank you.
Okay, hi. First and foremost, I would like to extend my gratitude at the opportunity to be a part of this team this year. This was an amazing experience to be a part of the school board and have my student voice heard and to be able to make some difference within my school district. To the board members, thank you for always being kind people. There was never a moment where I didn't feel like I didn't belong, and that was thanks to each and every one of you. You have all have such a warm and welcoming presence that allowed me to feel comfortable being here, so I thank you all for that. To my fellow student board members, thank you all for being kind as well. I wish you all the best of luck on your journey after high school. Congratulations to us. At Central, students are excited to finally be out. Seniors had their senior picnic, which was fun, and I'm wishing all of the underclassmen the best of luck on their finals. And to my peers, the class of 2025, we made it, period. Can't wait to walk the stage with you guys this coming Sunday. That's when Central's grad is. So thank you so much for this opportunity. It's been amazing.
Thank you.
Okay, so at West, we just had another Catch-Up Academy to help students raise their grades before finals, and we're ready for that. And we also just had our senior honors program, and we were very proud of all of our students who received scholarships and made the decision to go their next steps after high school. And then coming up, we have our summer sports camp, June 9th through the 13th. And this is for 2nd through 7th graders who are wanting to learn more about sports. Thank you.
Thank you. And we will see you all on Sunday. Next up, fine arts recognition. Do you want to introduce this?
Yes, this is always such a highlight of the year to have such amazing talent in the room. And we are thrilled to have so many people and students come and share their talents with us this evening. And so I'd like to introduce Rudy Newkirk, who's been instrumental in building and supporting our students, and she'll be introducing each of the students. So Rudy, and then as she is doing that and our performances are going, you'll notice on the data wall that we have continued loop of celebrations of all the students throughout the entire district.
School Board, thank you so much for having us here today. As Ms. Campbell said, there is information that's going to be circulating the whole time, and it's celebrating kindergarten all the way through 12th grade in all of our programs highlights, because we can't have all of them here tonight, but we do have representation of music and art and theater all the way from elementary to high school to perform and present for you tonight. Thank you so much for having us. first we will have Russell. He is one of our middle school band students at Smart. And I'm sorry, not at Smart, at Wood, and he's going to be playing the oboe for you. We just have to get him set up really. Next, we will have a performance from two students from North High School, Reese and Avenue. They will be performing a piece from Sweeney Todd. They actually afterwards are going to have to go because they have to get to their own concert tonight.
You see, son of a man, infatuated with love, were ardent and needlessly. So fish the palmy in palmistone and lend me a more seductive tone, a sprinkling perhaps of French cologne, but first, sir, I think a shame. The closest I ever came. 'Tis your delight of catching fire from one man to the next. 'Tis true, so love can still inspire the blood to pound the heart, leap higher. What's more can man require? Ha, guess who it is? Pretty women. Now then, my friend, now to your purpose. Patience, enjoy it. Revenge can't be taken in. Hasten if you will be commended, sir. And whom in this state you intended, sir, my lord? Pretty women, fascinating, sipping coffee, dancing. Pretty women are a wonder. Pretty women sitting in the window, standing on the stair. Something in them cheers the air. Pretty women, silhouetted, stay within you. Dancing, stay forever, breathing lightly. Pretty women, blowing out their candles, are coming out their hair that they leave when they vanish. They somehow still are there. They're there. Ah, pretty women at the mirror in their gardens, they're writing, and they're watching how they make a dancing proof of heaven that you're living. Pretty women, sir, pretty women. Yes, pretty women, sir. Pretty women, sir. Pretty women.
Next, we're going to have one of our elementary students, Piper, come up with her mom, and they're going to talk about the artwork that she's gotten to do at McKinley.
Hello, I know some of you. My name is Kayla Otero Detman. I've been with the Davenport Community School District for 12 years. I spent 10 years as a classroom teacher, and I've been an instructional coach for the last 2 years. I chose to teach in Davenport because not only is it a great school district, but it was where I could imagine raising a family. Over the past 12 years, I've seen Davenport continue to offer exceptional opportunities for students. Their opportunities to select pathways for their future careers, and their incredible opportunities in fine arts instruction. I proudly send my daughter Piper to McKinley Elementary, and she's about to finish 3rd grade, and she insists on tormenting me because she's about to be a 4th grader, because it gets to me, as you can tell, it gets to me. Anyway, so we realized at a very young age that Piper had a gift for art. She can see details that most completely overlook. Piper wasn't able to verbally communicate at the same age as her peers. However, she could communicate through art. One time, when Piper was about 3 and a half, she wanted to talk to me about something, but she couldn't voice it. Initially, she was frustrated. Then Piper picked up a bunch of rocks from our garden, and she carefully stacked and layered and organized the seemingly random rocks on her front porch. Then when she stepped back and proudly gestured to the pile of rocks, I realized she had just created the face of the Disney character Goofy. So we had to talk about Goofy. I'll never forget the feeling of joy that I had that she was able to communicate to me in that moment. Even though it was just a pile of rocks, it was full of words. I'm falling apart. The pride of witnessing her artistic abilities as well. She has had a lot of opportunities at home to explore art, and her amazing teacher, Mrs. Jamie Chalice, has provided her with incredible instruction while at McKinley. Piper has high expectations for her future in art. and she was only in kindergarten when she first expressed the desire to apply for the Creative Arts Academy when she's old enough. Our family is incredibly grateful that she's been able to have the opportunity for all the art experiences through Davenport schools. Piper has a few words that she'd like to share of her own about what art means to her.
Okay. What art means to me. My name is Piper Detman. I'm a third grader at McKinley. Art makes me feel calm and relaxed. I like to do a lot of different types of art. I really like drawing, painting, digital art, photography, filmmaking, and video editing. Art helps me bond with friends and share creativity with each other. In second grade, my friends and I made a comic book called Cat Family. It was a comic book about a family of cats. My cat was like the crazy one. At 5 a.m. in the morning, I would be hanging on fans and stuff. Most stuff happened at 2 p.m. and 5 a.m. for some reason. 5 a.m. was when my cat character lets energy out. When I could pick up a marker, I started scribbling away. My parents told me when I was really young, I knew like 15 colors, but the milestone is 4. I couldn't talk for a while when I was a kid. I could eventually learn how to talk, but before I could talk well, I could express myself through art. What I want to do with my art when I'm older is I want to get in more museums. I got my art in the Figgy, so I want to be in like New York, Paris, and other countries. I want to be able to travel around the world for my art. I want to keep drawing so my artistic skills can keep growing. Thank you for letting me share. Piper Detman.
Next, we will have Miss Lindsay and Tammy talking about experiences through art education. Miss Lindsay is actually our CAA dance teacher at Sudlow, and Tammy was her teacher when she was a child.
Hi there, my name is Lindsay Kruger, and like Rudy said, I teach dance for the Creative Arts Academy, and I've invited my friend and childhood dance teacher to share with you some thoughts and information on how dance education connects to 21st century skills.
So just a little bit about myself. Started dancing when I was 6. My mom opened a dance studio when I was around 9 or 10. For me, as not only taking dance, but I also became a dance teacher, so I taught and choreographed between solos, group classes. I was a senior at North High School and participated in the co-op program, which allowed me to become a student aide at the Rock Island Arsenal with Department of Army, and I never left, so I've been there for 37 years. I've grown up from, now I'll have to age myself, I did have a typewriter in the beginning, and I still miss that hum. But I grew up through automation and software as it grew. So because of some of the backgrounds with dance, which I'll kind of briefly talk about some of the different skills that I learned as when I was dancing or teaching dance, and how that has transitioned into the stuff I do today. So currently I'm a program analyst, and one of the skills that I have is looking at workflows and figuring out how to streamline, standardize, or automate. And with 37 years and knowledge of all the history along with that, it allows me to provide solutions that other people don't necessarily have with their experience. So what did dance teach me? It was that dance is a process workflow. You know, you have a process on what you do every day. How do I do this? Step 1, 2, 3, and 4. You know, on the computer side, we call it an agile process, a little bit at a time, and how do you move forward? Continually reviewing for process improvements. I'm going to say spatial recognition of knowledge and paying attention where either I was on a dance floor, so I don't bump into other people, or how I would choreograph students to use a dance floor, you know, without banging into each other. Choreographing, putting individual steps together. You have to start with step 1 and 2 and 3, and then you move on. And sometimes there's gaps where you come back to, but you know the time period where you start dancing, you stop, hold on for a minute and move on, and then you come back, relook at what they're doing, how they're moving, and then figuring out what should go in there. And then all the way through that, always relooking at it and deciding, can I improve it here and can I improve it there? Documenting dancing. like documenting the steps and documenting in a way that my students would also be able to read versus what I'm doing technically. Patience as a teacher, and I know many of you have been teachers, I had a wide range of students, so learning how to teach them in different ways. Not everybody understands the same, so how I instruct one may not be exactly how I need to instruct another. So learning patience, them teaching me patience, and also, again, learning how they learn and how to improve how I communicate. Obviously, communication styles. My mother as a dance studio owner, I dealt with a lot of parents, obviously with students, and then other teachers. We'd go and perform, and so you're dealing with public and that. So I've learned early on different communication styles, things I would say, depending on what the audience is. I also, as a child, I had undiagnosed ADHD younger, so I'm sure many teachers really enjoyed me. But even with that, and even in dance, sometimes I could get bored easily. So dance was a great way for me to, one, keep me busy, keep me moving, keeping my brain active, and then also learning different skills along the way. Able to process information quickly. I'm able to connect the dots quickly, recognize workflows, and ultimately I can pick up on what we call inherent knowledge. So in the example of a dance where there's a section that's missing, when you're talking to someone and what their daily processes are, I can pick out like there's a gap here, and what is that? It's usually inherent knowledge. They just assume you know something. So I'm easily able to pick those out. Obviously never afraid to ask questions. Recognizing the need for the audience, the different levels of understanding, whether it's written, verbal, or whether I'm training or not, and how do I adjust that depending on who my receiving end is. Able to provide out-of-the-box creativity, provide visual examples. One of my big jobs is to connect IT and HR and IT, and I'm the liaison and translator, so taking technical and making it non-technical and vice versa, so everybody understands that, using visualization and then impact of what that would be if they do it wrong. Helping me understand how to put data and workflows together, again, to streamline, standardize, and automate. And right now, if you know what's currently going on with Department of Army, we are going to be needing a lot of that here soon. Because I'm quick and I'm quick at automation, it was easy for me to understand. I became a subject matter expert early on in my career to be that main POC. When they had issues, they would come to me, and then I would try and solve them. Trusted source for information, not even just with education and higher education, your research, your the knowledge and that communication has to all come together regardless of a dance, music, etc., and in a business organization. Ultimately, again, creativity really helps me think outside the box, and because of that knowledge, I provide a lot of solutions and identify areas to eliminate replication, which is a big thing that we're working on right now. And of course, in the end, really, all of it, communication is key to everything in any step of the process, and really being able to understand how to break down information for who your audience is really the biggest point. So, that's about all I have.
Next, we will have a performance from Bailey and Kinley. They are two of our CAA dancers. I'm just going to clear the floor for them.
If I'm poppin', see them watch like it's outrageous how this flavor got them shook like. Hold up. You can't play me, bring me in, or try and tame me. I feel fabulous. Show me how you gon' work it out. I hit it back with a brand new style. Bring it up into the floor, get wild. We turning up all the way on the down like work it out. Come and show me what you're all about. I'ma shout it real loud and proud like, baby, I'm fabulous. Share all the love, there's more than enough. Let it rain on you, 'cause you're fabulous. It's time to put yourself first, don't stop believing disrespecting. Hold up. I'm the cause of everybody's concern. Be making them heads turn like, woo, oh my gosh, I feel fabulous. Show me how you gon' work it out. I hit it back with a brand new style. Bring it up into the floor, get wild. We turning up all the way on the down like work it out. Come and show me what you're all about. I'ma shout it real loud and proud like, baby, I'm fabulous. Come on.
Also, if students could wait around, I don't see anybody from communication, but John, could you take a picture when we're all done? Thank you.
Next, we have Carlin and Kate from Central, and they're going to be talking about their experiences in art.
Hi, I'm Carlin Peterson, and I am just here to talk a little bit about like art club and all kind of like the art stuff that Central does for our community. We do have another program. It's kind of like National Honor Society. It's National Art Honor Society. Basically the same thing with the volunteer hours and all that kind of stuff. The only kind of different thing is it requires 20 hours of art-based volunteer hours. And so we have a lot of opportunities in that kind of realm. We do a lot of face painting, whether it's for like things out in the village. We do face painting for the Christmas walk every year, and then when our special education has their winter dance, and they also have like Christmas parties and stuff like that, we do face painting, hand painting, all that kind of stuff for them, which counts towards our volunteer hours. Another thing that we do every year, and it's honestly my favorite activity that we do, we go down into the village and we paint the windows of different businesses for the Christmas walk that they do down in the village. This year was our most windows painted, like ever. And we painted the coffee house, the like dog bakery, dog grooming place down there. We painted Brew, Rudy's Tacos, Doodads, grilled cheese bar, a few more that I'm definitely forgetting. It was just so many. That's how you know. Oh, the precinct. And we also painted that winery down there as well. But yeah, there were a ton of stores that we did, and it's really such a cool thing to bring art out in the community. And I definitely feel like our downtown and the village is very like involved in all of like their art-based things, and having art in the community is such an amazing thing, and it's kind of pretty special down in the Quad Cities with like the Metro Arts Apprenticeship and stuff like that. And then something that's happening inside our school is in the art hallway. There are a bunch of murals, and a group of juniors and I got together and we were like, hey, we want to add our own murals to it. So House Sprague, Evelyn Toher, and Abigail Utter and I all added our own kind of murals down in the hallway. And we did kind of need a refresh in that hallway as well. And it was kind of just a nice way for us to leave our mark on the school for when we eventually graduate, and kind of leave on that legacy of our art program at Central. So, yeah.
I'm Kate. I would like to talk about how my teachers had an impact on me, because I think that's really important. I've only taken one art class at Central, and I took AP Art, college credit. And my teacher, Miss Lopez, was amazing. She pushed me to put my art in different competitions and different things. So sometimes I would get like the recognition I would feel like I wanted, or she helped me to get a scholarship, which I thought was, I didn't even know I could do that. And she pushed me in ways that I didn't even know that you could. And I'm always grateful for her. I'm also enrolled in the music department at Central, and I had like a similar mentoring program with Kendra Elledge. You know, when I went in as a freshman, you know, we have her for 4 years. You better like her, but she definitely taught me things beyond orchestra, like, I don't know, how to be a good person. But I do genuinely think that the art teachers at Davenport Central are very good in the fact that they push you in ways you don't really know you could be pushed. I mean, I didn't think I would be able to play the cello very well until Miss Elledge said, "Oh, you have pretty big thumbs. I think you'd be good at this." But I mean, I honestly really appreciate everything that they've done for me, and obviously that comes partially from you guys. And Davenport Central Orchestra needs more funding. We're running out of money really fast. Thank you. That's it.
I'll take that plug whenever I can get it. Next, we're going to have Carrie Ann. She is one of our new teachers at one of our elementary schools. She joined us in January and has been fantastic, just kind of fitting into that role. So I want to thank you, Carrie Ann, for everything you do, and thank you for being here.
Oh, that was very generous of you to say. Thank you, Rudy. As she said, my name is Carrie Ann Rasmussen. I graduated just this past December 2024 with my BA in K-12 art education and my BFA in painting from the University of Iowa. And I started at Eisenhower Elementary as the K-5 art teacher just a few weeks later. I accepted my position in the Davenport Community School District not knowing hardly anything about it, to be quite honest with you. And I had no personal ties to Davenport. I did not know anyone currently living here, and I'd only visited a couple of times. I can honestly say that it has been the best decision I could have made post-graduation, and not only am I so fortunate to have found a full-time teaching position mid-year as I did, but to have found myself in a school in a district that I've quickly become very attached to. I'm originally from Solon, Iowa, just a handful of minutes from Iowa City. I completed my own K-12 education in the Solon Community School District, and I continue to be floored and impressed, having come from a significantly smaller district, at the number of opportunities that our students here in the DCSD have to explore and participate in the fine arts. And I've seen firsthand in just half a school year how invested the parents and the community obviously are here in their students' fine arts education as well. I remind my Eisenhower students frequently that it is not every school, let alone every elementary school, that has the opportunity to have their work in a museum such as the Figge. It is not everywhere that K-12 students' artwork is displayed year-round in their City Hall building, as it is here, where said student artists are recognized by the mayor during a city council meeting. To have talent shows and visiting high school show choirs and orchestras come visit our elementary school to get students excited and interested in the arts early, it is a privilege, and I feel very proud to be part of a district that prioritizes these sorts of opportunities. All of that said, I feel obligated to acknowledge that when we see these sorts of opportunities like the Young Artists at the Figge exhibition or the North Park Mall art show or any fine arts showcase for that matter, even before all of that, even when I'm just in the classroom teaching in front of my students, we, the adults in these kids' lives, have a tendency to make things about us, about what we're doing, how we are doing it, about the outcome, the end result, be it the concert or the recital or the art show, what have you, and how it's going to be received by everyone, our community, the public, our peers, our mentors. And the reality is our students are best served when we decenter ourselves and we center them, their identities, their interests, their experiences, their learning styles, and their preferences, not ours. What may appear to administrators, core content educators, or the casual observer looking in the art classroom may appear as messy, loud, organized chaos. For many students, it is a legitimate brain break in the course of their school day. For some students, it is the one class where they don't have to stress about their academic performance in the way that they might during math, reading, or a science lesson. All of this can be true, and still art class has rigor too. elementary art class has rigor. It too requires adaptation and modification to be accessible to all students. Sometimes this consists of specialized adaptive tools, which does require funding, for students with limited mobility or difficulty with fine motor skills. For one fifth grade student of mine who is completely visually impaired, sometimes it means modifying the material requirements of a project to be more tactile than visual. Sometimes it means coming up with an alternative project altogether. The visual arts holds a unique space in education because I would argue it is the content area with the most flexibility and therefore has the most potential for accessibility for all types of learners. I would also argue that art class can and should be the one class in school where every child can be and feel successful. It is for this reason why I want to take advantage of this opportunity to express to you, the board, on behalf of all of our students and our educators in the district, how appreciative we are that you acknowledged the value that the arts have on our young people, to our schools, and to our community. I would encourage all of our administrators and board members, parents, and community members in the DCSD to continue to keep the fine arts a fundamental part of our students' K-12 education, to keep it a priority in this district that I am newly eager to be part of, and accessible to all students of all abilities. In both a teacher and artist capacity, I know there is always room for growth and improvement. There is always more to learn and more that can be done. Thank you for allowing me to speak and for your time.
Aren't we so lucky to have her? She's amazing. Next, we are going to hear a song by Ellie. She is one of our choir students at Smart Middle School.
It always goes like this. Could have predicted it. I'm so naive to think you loved me for me. Kissed as I ran off stage, too old to play this game. Guess you're still growing up at 30. Were you surprised by me when you took me home? When the glamour wore off, reduced to skin and bone, I can't even tell who you want to know. I'm a goddess on stage, human when we're alone. You took a start bed, woke up with me instead. You must have felt so dang deceived when you made up a version of me that you thought you'd love, but I am not your Aphrodite. Were surprised by me when you took me home. When the glamour wore off, reduced to skin and bone, I can't even tell who you want to know. I'm a goddess on stage, human when we're alone. Mm, mm, mm. You took me for a fool. You stole my youth. You wanted this so much. You watched me rise, then killed my light, and now you know I'm not your little goddess. I'm no goddess when I'm alone.
Thank you so much. Next is going to be Ella and Naomi talking about art and other fine arts at Central and CA.
Hi, I'm Ella. I could talk about how much I love art for hours, so I really tried my best to sum this up. I started with visual art in the CAA and I fell in love. I was so eager to continue at Central. These past 4 years, I've taken both 2D AP art classes, been in art club and NAHS, and I've been a 2-year art all-state member. I've also been in choir and show choir for all 4 years and a 3-year all-state chorus member. Visual art has become my outlet where I can express myself visually and process life in a safe and supportive space. Music has always brought so much joy to my life, but the program at Central has just taken that to another level. Through both programs, I've met some of my best friends who will likely last me a lifetime. And I've made so many of my favorite memories through art and music. They have given me spaces to grow my confidence as an artist and as a person, and I would absolutely not be the person I am today without the experience I've had in these 2 programs. So thank you so much for your support of these programs, and I can't wait to come back in the future and see what the next generation of artists gets to do in this district. Thank you.
Hi, I am Naomi. My teacher asked me to talk about the impact of art on my life and just kind of in general. I can only really speak from my own experience, but I know that at Central, I've been homeschooled all my life, and I became dual enrolled at high school, continuing some studies at home while taking classes at Central. And the main reason that I started taking classes in public school was for the Creative Arts Academy, and Central has one of the, I think it was honestly just closest at the time, but it also has a really good art program. And having those art classes helped me integrate into the hustle and bustle of high school and public high school. It helped me form a community with my teachers and with the students, with friends. I've been friends with Ella since freshman year when we sat next to each other in advanced drawing, and I hope that continues. Art's been a safe space to express and explore, and as I've grown as an artist, art itself has kind of helped give me space to grow as a person. Also, in the art setting, the setting of the art classroom has helped me learn to receive and apply, and then also give constructive criticism. We would have group critiques where we would kind of go around on the latest project that we're working on and leave notes, and there'd be treats and stuff. But that's one of the many skills that I can apply further in my life that I have gained from that art experience. Art has also given me a greater appreciation of the world around me. My first art teacher, Nicholas DeJoya, he has since retired from Central, but he used to say that art is, it's not just a thing you do or make. It's a way to look at the world. It's a way to live with how you see and examine the world in front of you, not just, oh, it's a desk. How does the color of the desk interact with the lighting and the reflective lighting from the floor on the desk, and the little bit of reflection in the varnish, how to capture all those little details and fully take in every moment. And art has not improved my handwriting. Which frankly has always been bad. And art is pervasive. To speak to the experience of everyone in this room for what art is. Everyone here has interacted with, had their life impacted by art in some way. Indeed, the world as we know it wouldn't and couldn't really exist without art and its artists, because art is such a diverse discipline. Sure, there are your fine arts and your studio arts with painting and sculpture, but then there's also, as we move into this more digital age, there's digital artists, there's graphic designers, web designers, there's artists have been designing the clothes that we wear, the textiles, interior designers, the chairs you sit on, fonts. These are all things made by artists. Art impacts our world in a very real way that is often overlooked. Art isn't just a thing you do or make. It is a way to see the world, to move through it, and to live. Thank you for your time.
Unfortunately, Sky and Xavier were unable to make it tonight, so we are going to go right on to our Wizard of Oz cast, who is going to bring us home.
We're off to see the wizard.
Good.
All right. Before I introduce myself, I would like each of them to go around, introduce themselves. They're gonna explain what grade that they're in, how many productions that they've been, and what role they played in Wizard of Oz.
Hi, my name is Aaron Clinton. I am a senior at West High School. I was given the honor to play Scarecrow in this year's Wizard of Oz production. And this is not my first. I think it's my sixth now at West, and I'm very excited. It was a really good production and a very great outcome.
Okay, my name's Erin Huffstutler. This is my first ever production. I was the lion. What else should I say? I'm a junior, so that's all.
I'm Dom Metter. I'm a senior at West High School. This is my first ever production, and I was able to play as Tin Man.
I'm Evie Augustine. I'm a junior in high school, and I got the honor to play Dorothy. This is not my first production. This is my second. I also was in Cinderella.
All right, and I want to introduce myself. My name is Emily Martica. I'm not only a first-year teacher just in general, but this is the sixth musical that I have had the honor of producing. I was also the book and music director for this position, along with being the assistant choral director of activities at Davenport West High School. I'm very proud of everything that these students put together, and with that, I want to give you some numbers just to give you an idea as to what this musical looked like this spring. So May 2nd through 4th was our production. We had around 1,500 tickets that were sold. I had about a cast of 80 students, 6th through 12th grade. About 50 middle schoolers from Walcott, Williams, and Smart, of which Ellie was one of them. She was one of our munchkins. I traveled during the day to each one of the schools to audition each one of those kids that got into the show. We had a crew of about 20 students, 20 PIP members, including our accompanist and our pit director, Maggie Oates. A couple of directorial positions we also had was pit director, set director, book and music director, tech director, crew head, stage manager, choreographer, and accompanist. So it's safe to say that I have been quite busy for the past couple months. So a little bit of our timeline. We rehearsed for about 4 months, including vocal training that I did during December after the audition for the production. I started giving them private vocal lessons in order for them to feel as prepared as possible, especially once things got crazy and we were in the midst of show choir season. A little bit of a super fun fact that I'm proud of. The last time West High School did Wizard of Oz was in 1991. We found the old posters. We were able to put up a bunch of memorabilia. We even had some old cast members come back because they saw it on Facebook. It was such a good time. We also at the show, which Dom is so wonderfully modeling for you all, is one of our commemorative Wizard of Oz bricks. Just as people could buy these for about $20 to come in, our fabulous boosters put these together so that way they could have a little piece of the Yellow Brick Road with them as they went. We also sold the fabulous t-shirts that they are also modeling as well, and will continue to do so hopefully for our future productions. Not only did these students amaze me by putting on all of these fabulous productions day in and day out, but they also were super involved inside of the community as word got out about our production. We held a children's event that was on the Sunday of our show. On this Sunday, all of these leads, including our Glinda, got to interact with a bunch of students and also take photos with each and every single one of them, which was it was a blast for me to see. I hope it was for them as well. Also, with that, word got out to Bluegrass about us. And so our opening night on Friday, during the school day, we were able to take them out and go to an assembly that they had put on where they were each able to perform for the kids, as well as ask them questions, anything else they wanted to know regarding the production that they could possibly audition in the future, all those awesome details. Along with that, we also went to Jackson and Buffalo. Jackson and Buffalo both reached out to me because their teacher appreciation week happened to be themed both Wizard of Oz and Wicked. So they actually made a giant yellow brick road for us. And they managed to stay in character while doing a Hawaiian dance party with all the kids, like preschool through 5th, I believe. Scarecrow got to do limbo. Everyone clinged around Glinda. It was a really good time. We also got to, I believe at Jackson or Buffalo was one of them. We got to see like a Spanish type band that was playing that was similar to mariachi, and the kids got to go around and dance and have a lot of fun and do a bunch of meet and greets with the students. There was lots of hugs, lots of high fives, lots of dancing, and just lots of joy that was brought to the community. So I'm very proud of them in regards to that. So I am so proud of the production that these kids managed to put on. They impress me day in and day out. This is their last official Oz Hurrah after all of visiting all the elementary schools. And I cannot wait for what the future of the theater program at West High School continues to grow into. And thank you so much for your support. Thank you.
All right, that wraps up our performances and presentations. Thank you, students and staff and everyone for coming. Students and staff, if you wouldn't mind coming up, I think we're going to get a picture with the school board.
Thank you very much for coming, performing for us, explaining what art means to you. Also, a big shout out to the 2 first-year teachers. Thank you. Okay. Seal of Biliteracy.
Hi, I'm Ashley Schaefer. I feel like I see you guys every year. I will spare you my singing this, but our kids are equally amazing. We have, I don't know where the presentation went, but we had 40 seniors, I believe, this year graduate with the seal. All the numbers in my head, which this year we crossed the 183 students with the seal of biliteracy. So that is super, super, super exciting for me. And we have them from all 3 high schools. We have both French and Spanish this year. And I'm going to get them through here as fast as possible, I promise. Some of them could not be here tonight. And I just want to say this is my last group of COVID babies. These seniors this year were a big group of kids that I had at Central as COVID babies. So they mean a lot to me. Like, these are my babies. I followed them all the way through. So I'm really excited for them. So we have Maddie Breidenbach. I did not see Maddie today. Edith Carrillo. Don't see Edith. Giselle Tavera. Ana Maria Chavez. I'm going to stress. Stephanie Chavez. I did not see her. Ava DeCook. Elian Aquino. Simone Hugim. Gabi Marcelino. Mario Martinez. You guys can come up if I call your name. Zoe McCullum. You can come, Gabby. You can come. Greta Meisner. Dylan Moeller. Jimena Sanchez. Gabriela Villanueva. Gabe Villarreal. Camden Bennett. I think Breeza might have had to leave already for her concert. Breeza Tellez. Diego Chavez. Daniel Galvin. Jessica Obo. Evan Padron. Melissa Perez. McKenna Poston. Zoe Voss. Julia Abarca. Aiden Brooks. Tremar Collier. Jackson Coppinger. Lily Gustav, Lily had to leave, Hector Aguilera, Alejandra Herrera, Elisa Holdorf or Ellie Holdorf, Carrick Trong, Mariana Lee, Daniela Lopez, Jackson Martin, Jackson's not here, Dominic Paquette, Jasmine Reyes, and Colin Scott Dowell. So these are an amazing group of kids. And just fun facts for you, 12 of these 40 also earned the Global Seal of Biliteracy. They are recognized internationally, which means they're really, really good at languages. And one of ours, sorry, I already lost my place. One of our really, really, really amazing kids won the working seal or earned the working seal of biliteracy. They have met the proficiency to work for the federal government if they really wanted to, which is amazing. It's really difficult to do. And I'm very, very proud of them. Like I said, some of these were my, Gabe's all grown now, but once upon a time he was little. So super proud of these guys. They have worked so hard. And like I said, I worked with the best. Most of these kids never had Spanish at home or French at home. Most of our kids are non-native speakers, and so my teachers are the best. So I'm really proud of them as well. So there you are.
Please come up this way so we can also have a picture with you. Next on our agenda is a review of the 24-25 District Career and Academic Plan, also known as DCAP.
Okay, thank you. The DCAP is our District Career and Academic Plan, and it's submitted each year to the Regional Partnership, and it evaluates our career and academic planning, and it is required under Iowa Administrative Code. Just a little bit about the difference of DCAP and the individual career and academic plan. The district plan is a roadmap, and it's our roadmap for the entire pre-K-12 system. And the individual career and academic plan is for the student use for coursework, including the 5 essentials that are required as part of career planning. One of the things that we did focus on this year was really expanding our team members, and you can see the list of team members here. That really is a representation of important stakeholders with students, community, parents, teachers, administrators. And then the recruitment for strategies for this district-wide team really was comprehensive this year so that we could get multiple perspectives. And there are certain members that are required, and then we went beyond that to make sure that we were seeking and hearing all voices. The timeline for DCAP is in December. There is a workshop, and that's where we review our plan from the previous year. There's feedback that's provided to us, and then we submit it May 9th, and then there's a regional scoring and evaluation day on June 6th. So ours was submitted a few days prior to the actual due date, and it is 80 pages long. If anyone's interested in reading, it is linked in here as well. This year we really spent time with our team and had quarterly meetings so that we started actually last fall writing the plan, making sure that we were ready to go. So that plan review, when we did that in December, there were some areas just as a high level feedback that advanced, and that was the school board review, making sure that we were here sharing this information, district team members and our expansion of our team, and career exploration. That's an area that we were doing really well and had lots of information in. Areas for growth that we were looking at for this year is our district summary, just making it more inclusive. Working on course planning. So again, when do the courses start in middle school all the way through high school? Work-based learning and really honing in on the new definition of work-based learning from the Department of Education. We are also taking a look at ICAP and our students with IEPs and career planning and how we can incorporate that work so that it's not something separate, but it's part of our district and career and academic planning. And then FAFSA. This was an area that we really wanted to spend some time, and moving into next year will be a focus area for us on FAFSA completion and FAFSA support. And you can see on this those team priorities as we go into our planning session for next year. Course planning, work-based learning, ICAP for students with IEPs, and FAFSA. And really those collaborative efforts towards our goals within our DCAP plan. And then the third area is our connected professional development, really creating an environment where we're future ready and choice ready for all students. So the career information system is on the student side of things, and it is where our scope and sequence provides an outline for students. You can see here in 2023-24, we explored our career information systems. And this year, we had middle school using Zello and the high school using Pathful. And this is, again, where students can explore, they can do an interest inventory and see what's available. And then that follows them into high school. The upcoming year, we're going to do a full review process to determine the long-range plan for our career information system and not using Zello at one level, or Zello at the middle school and Pathful at the high school. We have explorations that have already started this past month. So components that we've completed within our data set, you can see in 8th grade, our 4-year plans with each of the buildings and where they have submitted. And this is an ongoing process. So they're still working, even though we're in our last week of school. It's something that we go until the very end. So this data was pulled on a certain date about 2 weeks ago and submitted there. But again, the teams are continuing to work on this. And then high school Pathful, 9th through 12th grade, the completion rate of those lessons, you can see the number of lessons, and with our seniors having the highest lesson, which was outstanding, which was an incredible increase from previous years. Our scope and sequence, making sure that we're very intentional about the courses, about the units, about the career opportunities that we have for students, build that scaffolding, and then working with embedding that within our individual career and academic plan. In ICAP, in the individual career and academic plan, there are 5 post-secondary indicators that need to be incorporated into the courses. The first one is self-understanding. The second is career information that we need to provide within our scope and sequence. Number 3 is career exploration. And again, that's one of those areas we've done really well in, and that's engaging in career development activities, guest speakers, having students go out in that exploration stage. Number 4 is post-secondary exploration. And number 5, post-secondary and career decision. So indication of post-secondary intent and having students be prepared to answer that question on their plans so that their courses that they're selecting are leading to those plans that they see themselves after high school. You know, this is a great connection with our steps to success and again, preparing students for that post-secondary and career decision. With work-based learning and the new definition, there are the 4 areas around awareness, exploration, preparation, and training that we focus on. And the definitions for each of these, again, beginning with the awareness at the exploration stage, and then preparing students through mock interviews or school-based experiences, and then training, which can include internship, apprenticeships. And again, highlighting a goal for us moving into next year with ICAP and students with IEPs, and ensuring that we're looking at what their post-secondary goals are and aligning that with the transition plans that they make. And you can see concentrators with the system, the DCAP implementation, and then the ICAP connection, and having our special education representatives support the endeavors within individual and career academic planning. And FAFSA completion, the next slide, will give an overview of the state rate at 48% and the each of the high schools, how many have been completed, how many, the percent not completed, not filed, and then what that goal is, and the net difference. So within each of our high schools within FAFSA, working towards getting closer to that state rate of 48%. And this last component of our district career and academic plan, it's important is as we're writing and working on plans that we start to integrate our work so that we don't have a DCAP plan and we have our growing excellence plan and we have our IDEA DA plan and I could go on. And so on the next slide, you can see with this district integration that with the systems that we have, when we're working on ESSA, our IDEA, chronic absenteeism, our portrait of a graduate, that the ICAP or the DCAP work is integrated into these plans. So we end up with one growing excellence plan, and we don't have 62 different plans serving 62 different purposes. We're all going in the same direction and making sure that they're an integrated area. When we're looking at those plans and synthesizing them, you can see that the additional considerations around course planning, sequencing, course enrollment, all of those are areas that a way for us to integrate our plans together and weave them together as opposed to having them as isolated or siloed types of plans. So this summary slide, really key points and next step. The key points for us to really take away as we wrap up our DCAP preview is that the focus of being able to develop a future-ready environment. And that doesn't happen through a DCAP plan or an ICAP plan. That happens every day, all day. And what are we doing all the way throughout our entire system, pre-K-12, to create opportunities for future-ready, a future-ready environment and choice-ready for our students. I loved hearing the fine arts connection this evening about how meaningful the fine arts and how students were starting to describe how they saw themselves in their future, and how that starts at a very young age. We heard from a third grader this evening, and she sees her future in that. And so that's just one really solid example of building that future-ready environment. The second key point is to have that strategic alignment with our DCAP and integrated plans. As I've already mentioned, we don't want to have those siloed or separate, but how do we have them all work together? And so being intentional and purposeful with that work. And then the third key point to take away this evening with our DCAP is the continued focus on course planning and being able to make sure that we're meeting the needs of our students and we're always thinking of our students. One of the teachers this evening talked about decentering ourselves as adults and being able to center our decisions and our thoughts and our planning around students and how important that is. And I think that this continued focus on course planning is another example of how we can make that come alive. And the second piece to that is our work-based learning and how do we expand those opportunities for our students so that they can get out into the community, how they can make connections, and no matter what career path they're choosing. So lots of great work happening and some beginning stages of work-based learning. So next steps, as I mentioned earlier, we submitted the plan May 6th. The review committee is meeting June. So we'll find out and we'll get feedback from that before school starts. We'll do quarterly meetings, at least quarterly meetings for the 25-26. That served us very well this year. So our DCAP plan became much more comprehensive to the point where it's very detailed and all the specifics are in there. And we'll use that ICAP evaluation tool to create that comprehensive plan. We'll continue to explore career information systems, so Zello, Pathful, explore that, and then do a long-range recommendation next year. And then our ICAP and IEP focus will continue with CTE concentrators and meaningful connections with our career information systems as next steps.
Thank you. I'll start with Director Beck. Do you have any questions?
Sorry. Yeah, I did have a couple questions. So first of all, thank you for the presentation. So is this only focused on career exploration, this career exploration side of things, or do we include standard academics, so college bound students as well? Because it says career and academic plan. So I just wanted to know sort of, is this just focused on people who are not going to college, or is it everyone?
Oh, it's everyone. And district career and academic plan. So it's post-secondary readiness, post-secondary choice.
Okay. So my second question is about the FAFSA. Do you know, I know sort of the numbers of the completion numbers went down a little over the last year. Do you know how much of that was due to issues with the system itself and not the fact that students weren't completing it?
I'm not able to designate the exact difference compared to as a result of the issue with the system itself. We know that districts across the entire country really had a difficult time because of the system. It was not working, not functioning. There were individuals that would get some information in and they would be kicked out. So it was really in a tough spot, which meant that all of the FAFSA information was delayed. And so I don't know the exact percentage, or not sure that we can even get the exact percentage as to why, but
Okay.
I would anticipate that that would be part of it. Mm-hmm.
Okay. And then I had one last question. So the middle school is currently using Zello and the high schools are currently using Pathful. Is that right?
Correct.
And so I noticed when I was reading through, it looked like you guys were planning to put Zello back in the high school, or did I misread that?
So it would be, actually, we have the middle school looking at Pathful right now. They're reviewing it, they're exploring that system. And so then we'll decide on June 2nd what 25-26 will look like. But then even with that decision, we plan to do a full review to make sure that we land with one, whether it's Pathful or Zello.
Okay, and I remember hearing some feedback from our student board members over the last couple of years that the high school students anyway, were not thrilled with Zello. Has the feedback, unfortunately there aren't any student board members there tonight, but how has the feedback been for Pathful?
So Pathful had struggled this year a bit because they were hit with a storm that knocked out their entire system, unfortunately. So in the fall, it was a very slow start. They were wrapped up in that flood that occurred and tornadoes and storms that were rolling through. So Pathful at the beginning was definitely a struggle. They are starting to regenerate and recover from that. And we have middle school in right now, and the lessons are coming in and looking solid. So that's why we really want to take next year to explore, because we also know that Zello has released some new updates. And so even though I know that students have said that Zello has been great, and our data has shown that has not been successful in terms of getting a high percentage of completion rate and use of that. And so that's why we really want to take next year to look at both systems, and then the following year we would have that long range plan.
Okay, thank you.
You bet. Mhm.
Director Hayes.
And my question was really on that line as well with the slide 10 on the eighth grade Zellos. There's as low as 49% and as high as 93%. Huge variance between the two. Is there anything that we're doing differently or anything being done differently to make them more equal, or what can we do to fix those numbers?
So, and we'll pull the numbers at the end of the school year because those will change slightly too, to show the difference or to be able to see where we end up. And I think something that we can do differently next year too is just monitor that closer on a quarterly basis and not wait until the end of the school year. And then I really do have to emphasize too that these 4-year plans completed are still just part of the puzzle. That we really want to see future ready and career planning throughout a student's career, that this is one tool in the toolbox to be able to have those conversations, but we really want that future ready planning environment to be developed.
Okay, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Director Barnes.
Thank you for the presentation. I too want to focus in on the FAFSA information, and I would hope that we're not going to wait until we get feedback from our submission to address a clear deficiency. This data does not suggest a future-focused school district with less than half of our students doing what they need to do to maximize their eligibility for support for post-secondary plans. So I hope that we don't have to wait until June whenever we get feedback to be attacking this very simple part of post-high school planning, whether or not a student's going to college or they're going to trade school or they're going into a career technical field. The federal and state support that is provided as a result of completing the FAFSA is urgent. And as I'm thinking about the future focus of our school district, these numbers are inadequate. I mean, this is something that we've got to be focused on simultaneous with these individual career and academic plans, the importance of doing this. So I hope we're not waiting until we get feedback to develop a plan for better FAFSA completion rates than we have right now.
Yeah. Thank you for that. And I pulled up our DCAP plan because that is an area of concern and an area that we definitely need to emphasize. And some of the efforts that are done with FAFSA right now include the student financial literacy course, which goes through FAFSA. So every student does take that course, and FAFSA is included in that, exploring how FAFSA relates to the last dollar scholarship. In 12th grade, there's one-on-one meetings with school counselors explaining the FAFSA process. We have Why Apply event with college representatives coming in, which is that student understanding piece of FAFSA. So just another opportunity. The I Can presentation on the FAFSA for parents during teacher conferences happens in November. We have the ID completion rate, the FAFSA ID completion event that occurs in November as well. The FAFSA Assistance Completion Day, which is December and January, and that's our Gear Up coaches. So this is really distributed amongst counselors, community members, and then our Gear Up coaches that will support FAFSA too. Next year, we'll have student leaders provide peer assistance for FAFSA completion. So peers, we're helping peers and offering sessions, and we have great opportunity around guided study hall with that. We have local scholarship information events. Each of the buildings have a very comprehensive website that is, again, future ready career planning, and then has FAFSA information. And then the FAFSA incentive event, which occurs in April. Just to name some of those things that we put in the plan, and many of those are in place, but we just need to double down and then extend them because I know that we can do better for sure.
Before I go on, I also know that LULAC has a grant and they hire someone Her name is Lupe, and I'm sorry, but I can't think of her last name. And she works with students to get them to fill out the FAFSA and do that. And she's just finding it hard to get into the schools. And I don't know where the disconnect is, but here they're providing this service to help them get through it one-on-one, and they're just not helping. So that's my 2 cents on that one. Trick question?
Yeah, on slide 18, just a little bit more explanation, the lower portion there. I guess clarification, not completed, not filed. What are we talking about there?
So 1% in looking at the 1% not completed, a student started or 1% started, didn't finish the FAFSA, so they made the attempt. 60% not filed, so didn't start, and then the goal, obviously moving from 40 to 55%.
So, what? Who is responsible, or is anyone responsible as far as engaging these students to complete that? Where does that all start, and what's the support there?
Yeah, that's a great question. So our counselors do play a critical role, and they meet with students on an individual basis and get them started. And then there's those other layers of support that we're looking at for next year to follow up. And I'll follow up with LULAC because I think, again, the more community partners we have, the more parent events that we have in student information, the financial literacy. So teachers have a role in that too. The teachers that are teaching the financial literacy, there's a FAFSA piece in there. So it's multiple layers, almost like safety nets to try to catch. So it is surprising to see the low percentage of completion rate, for sure.
So, and maybe you can't answer this, but just from your own personal feelings, what's holding these students back from participating?
That's a great question. And it makes me wonder if we wouldn't even garner some additional information if we did focus groups with students to ask them that very question. What is the barrier? And let's remove those barriers, because this really is the first entry point into seeing themselves in a college setting.
I mean, surely they realize, how much good this is going to do them, or don't they? I mean, what?
It's part of the curriculum. It's part of the scope and sequence that they get that information. I'm also wondering about our Steps to Success week, and they obviously don't fill out FAFSA until their senior year. But I'm wondering what we can do during Steps to Success to really double down on that to make sure that they get that information. Our original design with Steps to Success was to do the assessment in the morning and then the afternoon do breakout sessions, writing resumes, college letters, all of those things, a career fair, a FAFSA. So I think that we can start to explore that as another layer so we can really attack this in a lot of different ways. To me, the FAFSA is really important because it is that entry thought of, I could make this work. Students, once they fill it out, they can see what they are eligible for financially. And if we can, maybe a student, I was talking to one actually during Steps to Success who just said, I don't see myself going to college. And, tell me a little bit about that. Well, it was a financial situation. And so again, they might have heard that. They probably have heard that, but to really hear it again, that no, this is an opportunity. You try this first and see what happens. So.
Can they fill that out without a parent? I mean, don't they need the parent's financials? So
they do.
To do it in the afternoon with the student, they're not going to be able to complete that.
They'll only
correct?
get so far.
Yes.
And
okay.
Yeah. I do believe, and I would need a counselor here to answer this, but I do believe if you are in a situation where you cannot access your parents, because we do have students, across the country, that would be in a situation where they can't access their parents, financial situation and their tax information to complete this. I do believe there is a way to submit that if you don't have that access. So, Director Barnes.
Yeah, I just want to note that it's not just for college-bound students. This is about being future ready and being a future ready school district. This is not just about students affording a four-year college. This is about community college. This is about career technical education. This is about this is federal support that is available for students once they leave high school. And this is an area where we've got to, without question, we've got to become experts. We've got to make this front and center because our students are limiting their future. If we can't even get half of our students to complete the FAFSA to maximize their eligibility for federal financial aid, this is not just about our college ready and college bound students. This is about every student in the school district. So this is one that we don't need to wait for a report to come back and say that we're not doing what we need to do. This is an area of focus that we've got to get on. And I will also just say, as a higher ed professional, submitting the FAFSA is easier than ever before because of the IRS data interface. It is something that takes no more than 10 to 12 minutes if you're sitting down with the parents.
Thank you.
Anybody else? I have a question about this 8th grade scores. Do they do it in a class or are they left on their own to do it? I mean, like some of them are at 49%. Why did they skip class that day? Did they not have to sit in a class and say, okay, today this is what we're doing? Or why are those scores so low?
They do this in a class, and there is, yes.
So
And
then why have they not completed? They're not higher than 49%, or one school hasn't even.
Oh, they are finished. I just didn't. Okay. Yeah. We'll get the updates on that. I can send it to you. And then those numbers, could fluctuate a little bit as well, but the discrepancy there, and it, if it's related to attendance, if they were gone or you just didn't complete it and the follow up. So I can look into that a little bit more, for sure.
Because if it's in a class, I would think you're right there. You should have the time and be able to finish it. But what do I know? Anybody else? Okay, thank you. Board reports. Director Beck.
None at this time.
Director Hayes. Director Barnes.
Just will note that last week I attended the last meeting of Portrait of Graduate Task Force, and I am just exceedingly excited to present the Portrait of Graduate work to the school board. The community participation from families of graduates, families of students who are in the district, employers in the region, teachers has really been fantastic. And I think the aspirational goal of this task force of what we want for every single graduate of the Davenport Community Schools is I think it has transformative power for our school district. And I think it's going to make the school board very, very happy. So it's been a real pleasure to be on that task force.
Thank you. Director Boston.
Since our last meeting, I attended the John Deere Scholars Celebration Program. Again, what an opportunity for these 20 students, and it'll continue on in the next 2 years with additional students. So a big thanks to John Deere and the program that they've put together. I attended the apprenticeship signing day, and again, as always, biggest numbers of apprentice signees are from the Davenport schools. And then I also attended the Project Search graduation last week.
Thank you. I also was at Project Search graduation. That's always a great time to see our students getting the support and the skills to go on to a job. I went to the John Deere University of Iowa Scholarship Program, and it is very cool that 20 of our students are not going to have to worry about, how are they going to make it through, because 90%, I believe it is, of their funding is going to be covered. I went to apprenticeship signing We had the most students, our district did, of all the districts participating in the signing, so that's cool. And then, Brenda, do you want to click on that Reyes? Mike Reyes is LULAC Council 10, and he was out in DC and went through the Smithsonian National Museum of American History, and he gave them a Migration is Beautiful book, and he developed, that was developed, we all got a copy of it, the partnership with the University of Iowa, Davenport Schools for third graders. This is the first book that went out, and it is going to be in the Smithsonian Museum. So that was very cool. So anyway, it was pretty exciting. We were excited when he got it. Okay, next up is, yep.
One thing I failed to mention on the John Deere Scholars celebration program, the other thing that these students have is they have access to academic help. They have access to the same people that the athletes do at the University of Iowa. And so there's a lot of support there. And not only, is the money important, but the support that they will get from academic advisors, I think will be very huge.
Thank you.
Oh, can I add to that?
Sure.
Sorry. I was also there, but the thing that really stuck out to me was that they also get a mentor at Deere. And so it's somebody that they're going to be able to lean on and talk with. Some of them had more than one mentor, I believe, to sort of be there as a support person outside of the academics. So that was also a very important part of that program.
Thank you. Next up is open forum. Is Brian Feltz here? Okay, I got to read this then. Open forum is a time for members of the community to give input at a board meeting regarding school district issues or concerns. Individuals who want to speak, please fill out an open forum request and give it to the board secretary prior to open forum. The form is available in hard copy for in-person attendees or on the school board page of the district's webpage for those who want to participate virtually. Virtual participants must email their request to Brenda T. at tbren@davenportschools.org by 3 o'clock on the day of the board meeting. The board will not act on any issue presented during open forum if it was not published as an agenda item. Iowa open meeting law prohibits action on any issue that is not on the agenda. The president may set the amount of time allowed for the individuals to speak. The board asks that no charges or complaints be made against individual employees of the district or community. Remarks that reflect negatively on the character or motives of any person will be called out of order. You'll be asked to state your name and home address prior to making remarks. Please note that the board meetings are recorded and the recordings are available online. Is anybody virtually? No. Okay, so I have Brian Feltz, and you will have 2 minutes.
My name is Brian Feltz, address is 1623 Tanglefoot Lane. I am a CTE teacher at Central High School. Most of you probably know that by now. I've become kind of a regular here. And not to kick a dead horse, but it wouldn't be me at the mic if I didn't bring up my dissatisfaction with the way the schedule was going to go next year. I feel like that went through not a lot of transparency. What transpired between August and February when I first heard about that, not a lot happened there. But in the meantime, I feel like there's some lack of transparency still going on now with the scheduling for next year. And I guess what I'd like to address is the class sizes. We've been told we've got somewhere between 17 and 20 minutes of actual lab time, which is about a third of what the kids had before. I've got 9 welding booths at Central High School. If I've got 25 kids in there, am I supposed to divide that into three sections or alternate them every third day? With class sizes up in the 20 to 25 range, that's not feasible. different schools have different assets. Both West and North have bigger welding shops than ours. However, we've got a bigger auto shop than North. With that short a lab time, I guess I'd like to see some oversight, because right now from my administration, I'm not getting any answers. As of now, I still don't have a schedule for next year. I don't have any numbers of the kids that are going to be in the class. It is discussions I've had right up to my principal and main counselor, and I don't know what's going on at this point. And I feel like this is the same lack of answers that I didn't get last fall. So I'd like to point out that
Thank you.
lack of transparency. Thanks for your time.
Next up is the consent agenda.
Madam President.
Man, I gotta find my, I got a lot of papers here. Holy cow. Okay.
I move the board accept the consent agenda as written.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Are there any questions? Seeing none, all in favor say aye.
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 All opposed, same sign. Motion carried. Committee reports. Breaking barriers.
None at this time.
Legislative advocacy? No. Local School Advisory Committee, Director Beck?
None at this time.
Long-range facility planning? Nothing. Policy? Nothing. Recognition? Working on it for next year. There is a retirement breakfast on June 2nd. And finance. Finance, we'll turn it over to Kevin.
Finance committee was very short. We just reviewed the month of April, and this will be fairly quick. On the monthly report, on the first page, there's really only one thing to point out. You'll notice on our expenditures, on our supplies and materials, we had a significant decrease in those amounts. That is because of the curriculum purchases made with ESSER funds last year. You're now seeing the difference where there's not as large of a carry, if you will, of ESSER funds. The other point to make is you will see the year-to-date ending balances being between 58.6 down to 57.5. That's pretty normal where it belongs. It can be lower, but that's it's kind of rounding out with the 2 months to go. On page 2 of that, I had been mentioning about our internal service fund, which is our self-insurance fund. You'll see it was slightly negative the last couple of months, and now you see that it's $2 million to the positive. That number is going to fluctuate a little bit, but our intent is just to keep our eye on that to make sure that we're not dipping too low and we're not rising more than what it needs to be. If there's not any questions on that, I'll move very quickly to the other. Yeah.
Director Barnes, question?
Kevin, what is the ideal amount to have in the self-insurance fund? Is there a benchmark that you are sort of paying attention to that you'd like it not to fall above or fall below or be above?
We work with True North as our TPA, and they say the floor should be 9 months of premium in our fund. That number's been coming down some as far as the total numbers. So if we're between 18 and 25 million, we're in really good shape. 18 million would be more of a floor.
Okay, great. Thank you very much.
You bet. Good question.
Any other questions on this part? Okay. Go to the next one.
Okay, on the key measures report, you see that we're kind of hovering right around that 20% mark of our UAB, and that looks like that's where it's going to fall. Yes, we've got the full month of May and then a strange month of June with our accruals and so forth to come. So we'll see where that comes out. I don't expect it to change too much from that 20% mark. You will notice on our percent of our spend, we're hovering right around 94%. That's up from the 90% from the past years. That's where we're kind of growing a little bit. You'll see that going into next year to grow a little bit more. So we're nudging to that 100% where we want to be. And therefore our solvency is, while it's rising, you're going to start to see that solvency fall right along with as we get to 100%. And that's really where we want to be in that entire thing. But the most important part on page 2 is I was re-estimating where our expenditures are going to be, and I kept saying we may need to do an amendment. We may need to do an amendment for this year. When I looked at the model that Frontline does, it was loaded with anticipating we'd spend all of our capital projects because our other category kept being in the negative as far as a projection. When I revisited that, I discovered why it was doing that. And working through Bray and other people, we're not going to need to we're obviously not going to need to do an amendment for this year. And that's it.
Anybody have a question on this? Thank you, Kevin. We're going to take a 5-minute break. There you go. We are back. Items requiring action, 10.01. May I have a motion and a second on Chromebooks annual refresh and elementary teacher desk configuration?
Madam President,
Director Hayes.
I move that the board approve the purchase of Chromebooks, laptops, and peripherals in the amount of $1,711,530 awarded to CDW.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Do I have any questions? Director Poston.
On the, it shows like 50% of the elementaries were done in 25, 26, and then the others in 26, 27. Walcott School is not listed. Are they categorized under the intermediate?
Kevin?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. So they've already been updated.
Yes.
Okay. Any other questions? Seeing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Next up, could I have a motion on the geometry curriculum adoption?
Madam President,
Director Hayes.
I move the board approve the purchase of HMH Intro Geometry in the amount of $211,348.36.
Second.
Been moved and seconded. Are there any questions? Seeing none, all in favor say aye.
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 Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Next up, discussion item, West High School tennis courts replacement design. Take it away, Josh.
So going back to last summer, we had some issues with the tennis courts at West, and we cut and crack filled and tried to make them better, or at least as good as they were. This spring, after the winter heaving and moving around to the concrete stuff, it was discovered they're in pretty rough shape again, and kind of a little bit unsafe for our students to be playing on, I believe. So at this point, I believe they're due for replacement, and I need to hire a firm to design and put this out for bids. So just looking to get that started. We're looking to do an 8-court tennis court, which I believe is what we need for to host like playoffs or competition, things like that. So Martin Whitaker would be hired for just under $40,000 to design this tennis court, which they're looking at to be around $700,000 is our estimate right now.
Any questions?
Josh, do you think we'll get a not to exceed on this by the time we get the engineering on this, and not to exceed price? I mean, we've got an approximately $700K.
What we do is we get this designed for this amount of money, and then we put it out for bid.
Okay.
And then we hope to get less than that, actually. But yeah, our hope was it won't be that much, but it may be.
And how many courts are there?
There'll be 8. Currently, there's 9, and we'd go to 8.
Okay.
We may also, another thing is we may speed the process up and try to get this done as soon as possible, because there is a fall season also. So they actually happen in the fall and the spring. We're exploring that option right now, but I don't know if it's possible. We're trying to figure that out.
Director Boston.
Josh, how do you decide who's going to be the designers here? You don't put that out for bids?
We don't put them out for bids. We knew that these guys had designed some recently. I don't remember which school they were for, but I knew they had some recent experience on it, so that's why we contacted them.
So, I mean, you've done your due diligence on this firm?
On this firm, yeah, we use them fairly often. It's, IMEG and MSC or MSA, and then Martin Whitaker is a firm we use often on our projects.
Director Beck, do you have any questions?
No.
Okay. And I do not have any questions. This sounds like a really stupid question, I guess. We have to hire someone to plot it out? We can't just okay, thank you, Kevin.
Yes, we do. We have to after it exceeds, how much is it?
I see that going, yep.
After it exceeds $186,000, we must hire somebody to design it.
Gotcha.
Karen?
Dr.
So,
Foster.
are you, as far as the surface itself or the base underneath, are you going to change anything to help prevent this problem from occurring again, or is this just a case of age?
I think this is really just a case of age. I don't think there's really anything that failed. It's just lasted its time and it started failing.
Anybody else? Okay, this will come back for action. Superintendent, do you have a report?
None this evening.
I bet TJ told you to say that, didn't he? And administrative reports, I'm going to turn it over to Brenda.
Yeah, just a quick look at Assembly. I sent you guys a link specifically for board training. It's 15 minutes. I think it will be very helpful, and I think it will cover just about everything you need. There were just a couple things here. We are going to start fully using Assembly as of June 9th. So this is the last meeting where you will see board docs as an agenda up on the screens. I do have a Assembly agenda already made for you, so you'll get to see that too. There's no action required of the public. They don't really have anything to look at or read. It's very simple. Anytime I send an agenda out on Thursday nights, I usually put in there that the board docs link is active. That will just switch now to say, here's your new Assembly link. They shouldn't really feel any difference. Hopefully most of you had an opportunity to set up your account. This is actually Karen's, but it would have looked identical to this. If you have any trouble at all, Tim can help you. I can help you. Karen did some troubleshooting on her own this afternoon. We can always call Assembly too. They're very responsive.
That hyphen created a problem.
You'll see that we as a district are subscribing to 2 modules out of about 6 that are offered to us. And you'll see them up here. They're meetings and policies. All board meetings, committee of the whole, regular, closed, open, any meetings will be managed through this platform. I also would like to start running our agenda planning committees through this platform. We'll look at how that works and if you guys like it. And policy committee meetings, excuse me, will be run through this. The interface between IASB and Assembly is so good, especially on the policy side, that I'm really anxious to start that one. I think that one will be very good. Policies will be run through here. All of our active policies are already loaded, and you saw that at a previous meeting, how the policy book will come to you and all of that. Again, I'm very excited. I think it's a really good process. There are multiple views, just like there are in board docs. The public, which requires no login, can see agendas, minutes, and any active policies. They cannot see anything that needs to be kept confidential under law. For example, terminations or expulsions, anything like that. We have that capability to keep those confidential. As a voting member, as a board member, when you are logged in, you have access to all that content just as you always have. Content control is done at the meeting administrator level. Right now, I have that, TJ has that, and Ivy has that. They don't know how to do anything, but they have it. Tools that we're going to continue to investigate. Sticky notes. Thought that would be really nice. You guys can put a note right on your own version. There's a goals scorecard that TJ and I discussed just briefly that is kind of exciting. Workflow, that would be helpful to me. And then just expanding the meeting types for which Assembly is used. Does TJ's cabinet want to use it? Portrait of a Graduate, LZAC. Those would all be available. I did do the phone shortcut on my phone, just took me a second. If you want to use that, the setup worked well. Any problems, we can help Tim or I am sure. As I mentioned, I did do an agenda in Assembly for tonight, and they are matching. So if you set them side by side, you can compare how they're going to look, if that's something that you want to explore. So if you log into Assembly, log into Board Docs, you can look at those side by side. And then I put the board member training video on there. And just a reminder that you do need to be logged into Assembly to access the training. That's it. Any questions right now?
No, but I will say that the video is very helpful. I watched it this afternoon after my 5 attempts to get logged in, but other than that, it all worked out.
Yeah, the training has been excellent, I thought.
Yeah. Icon. Are we going to have an icon like we do for Board Docs on our computers?
Great question. We do if you put it on your phone. I'll look into that.
Yeah, I would like it on this computer. And there was some issues about Board Doc pulling over our meeting minutes and that. Has that been resolved? Are we getting it pulled over?
Well, I finally got somebody to actually reach out to me, and I have a meeting with them tomorrow. So I will have an update on that after I meet with her.
And so we would have a list of archived minutes of things.
Yes, at the very least, we will do that, even if I need to go in and do PDFs. My concern was I wanted to keep the support documentation. So I'm anxious to talk to her tomorrow and see what we get.
Yeah, that's great. Director Barnes.
And just a clarification, Board Docs is being discontinued in regard to support. That's why we are making this change, just to make sure the public understands why this transition is occurring, correct?
Yes, they are no longer supporting Board Docs. They did offer a different product, but in comparing products, we chose Assembly.
And it is helpful that the policies from IASB are on Assembly, so it makes it easier transition instead of having to put together both of them and things like that. So, anybody else? Director Beck, do you have a question about it?
I'm not sure if you asked this question or not, but I was just kind of looking at some of the other Assembly sites, and there's a lot of good color combinations that make them unique. And I was wondering if we were going to be able to take advantage of that, make our icon a little bit bigger, and maybe add some colors, or if that was something that comes with a different subscription.
No, we certainly can. And I do have on my list of things to do to work with communications, to work with Jerry and Sarah. We need to do some linking. We need to take the Board Docs link down. And I did want to talk to them about, making it look good.
Awesome. Thank you.
Anybody else? Okay, any board requests? Nope. Go on to board reflections. Director Beck.
Well, the fine arts performances were really amazing. I really loved the opportunity to see and hear. I had a little bit of technical difficulty, so I couldn't hear everything. But what I did hear was fantastic, and it was really great to see our teachers recognized as well as our students. And the two teachers that we heard from tonight are just amazing. And I want to give them a shout out and to keep doing what they're doing. Really loved hearing about what they've been doing with their students at McKinley and at West. At Eisenhower and at West. Also McKinley, but so that was probably my highlight. And then also I'm wishing good luck to our student board members who are moving on to other things.
Director Barnes.
I too want to acknowledge the Fine Arts Celebration. There are two things that really stood out to me. The student voices celebrating what the arts give to them I think was incredibly special. I think sometimes we celebrate students and that's our job, but we don't always hear what participation in athletics or participation in particular course of study has meant to the student. And I thought that was very special to hear those student voices and to hear the impact. And I kind of hope that at some point we might hear the same for other types of programs that the school district sponsors. The other thing that I would like to acknowledge as part of the Fine Arts celebration was the incredible passion that comes through our teachers and our participants. And these are programs that are building pipelines that go on to achieve at the highest level with state recognition and state performances and state acknowledgement. And I think there's an important lesson for all of our co-curricular programs as we think about how to build a pipeline of enthusiasm and passion and achieve at the highest level. I wish that for all of the co-curricular programs that we sponsor in this school district.
Director Boston.
Director Barnes, well said. Again, I like the participation that the students in the fine arts program, the students that attained their seal of biliteracy. Again, the participation, it just reward them down the road immensely. And then one other thing that came through on the Friday board report, and that is that we made our last payment on the West High addition. So I think we can celebrate that. So with everything that we've got going on, we can put a check mark there. There's a project that's done, it's been paid for, and there should be many more down the road.
Director Hayes.
I enjoyed the recognition, both of them as well. And the one student that was homeschooled that actually came back to join in the program, just watching her excitement with that and the interaction with her peers and able to come and make connections with other fellow students, that was really important to me. And I also enjoyed the presentation that Diane gave with the career and academic plan. And just kind of seeing the numbers, and as Director Barnes mentioned, the FAFSA numbers, I wish they could increase, but we'll just have to figure out along the way and just encourage at every opportunity that we get that if you're not going to college or trade school, this is worth filling out, and figure out for those students that do not have parental contact while they're doing them, what can we do with the IRS to link that information in so they can complete it? Because right now I'm not even sure if there's even 50% participation with conferences. So what opportunity can we latch on to help students get that work done?
Diane.
All right. Well,
Acting Superintendent.
Yes, it was a pleasure to be here this evening, and certainly to celebrate our students, our staff, our parents, and community members through the fine arts presentations and their talks. And I just couldn't help but really sit and reflect about how inspiring it was, and how dedicated and the creativity that is presented, and how powerful that is for our students, and the connections that they're making, not only within our community and they're seeing their future, but the friends that they're making along the way. So I just, it was a pleasure to be here this evening.
And if you're watching out there in space, our data boards were running art things as well. And I happened to look over there, and like one of our students got a $1,500 scholarship for her music performance. And so, yes, there's opportunities out there, not just participating in the musical, but scholarships involved too. I always love the performances, how art impacts them, and the 2 teachers that are first-year teachers, and the one saying, I didn't know anything about Davenport, but I'm glad I'm here, and you know, embrace the arts and things, and so tells us we're doing something right. We are on the right path there, so that's good. And the biliteracy, wow, that was a lot of kids to have earned that award, so that was very awesome. And finally, that we're finally making the transition to Assembly. Yay! Okay, with that being said, may I have a motion to adjourn? Could I have a second?
Second.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Meeting adjourned.
Thank you.
I know.